Hello, my name is Vanessa Etherington. I'm the Personal Development Curriculum Manager here at LNS. Unfortunately, with the restrictions that are in place at the moment, we've not been able to facilitate our careers event for year 10 and 11 that we would normally put on Thursday of this week. However, we have put together a couple of presentations regarding apprenticeships and about college applications, and this PowerPoint is about the apprenticeship applications. I hope you find the following information useful as we go through the following slides. Students currently in Year 11 will be eligible to start an apprenticeship in the summer of 2021. This will be once they have completed all of their GCSE exams, so we're looking at roughly about the end of June. However, we appreciate that applying for apprenticeship is the same as applying for a job, so sometimes you have to get your application in quite early. Over the following slides, you will see lots of information on how to go about this. A couple of things to remember that there is no age limit for apprenticeships, so don't feel that you have to apply for apprenticeship now. You can apply for apprenticeship at any time, and some students do prefer to go to college first to get a bit more background information and then consider getting an apprenticeship at 18 or even later once they've gone to university. Students 616 are eligible to apply for intermediate apprenticeships, which will be equivalent to a level 2 qualification. However, they will quickly advance on up to the level 3, which will give them the equivalent to A levels. And as you can see on the chart, then a young person can progress as far as a master's degree through the apprenticeship programme. In the course of this presentation, it will give you lots of information on how best to support your child if they are looking at going through the apprenticeship route. With an apprenticeship, it usually means that they're working between 30 to 40 hours a week. However, it does include paid time so that they can complete their training with their studies, whether that's going to be evidence-based or whether it's actual formal coursework that they have to do. This will either be delivered through a college or a training provider. As you can see, apprenticeships have certainly come a long way from where they were 20 to 30 years ago and are certainly a credited way of being trained within a job role. Certainly for young people, it's quite appealing in the fact that it is a mixture of work and a mixture of study, but also the progression route does allow them to work their way up through a company and through training and to reap all the benefits of that. Can see the range of apprenticeships has really expanded over the recent years as well. However, there are still some roles that if you want to go down a particular pathway, then you will still have to go to university to get those qualifications. So, for example, to be a doctor, you will still have to go the traditional route of A levels and then university. However, to go into nursing, there are now nursing apprenticeships available. So any job role is really worth considering when you are looking at an apprenticeship. It's certainly worth inquiring about because you never know, you might find something that your child is really interested in, or they will find something that they're really interested in and would like to give that a go. The range of employers offering apprenticeships is absolutely incredible these days. This slide shows you some of the really familiar logos of big companies in England who will recruit apprentices. Around 50% of apprenticeships started with the larger companies like these, but 50% would also be with smaller, much more local companies. It'd be tempting to think that the best apprenticeship are just the big, well-known companies, but many of the smaller employers have absolutely brilliant schemes which enable fast-track career progression for their apprentices. So it's really important to do your research and not to ignore smaller employers because they can be just as good, if not better, in some cases. When looking at apprenticeship opportunities, it's really important to look at the different roles that a company might be able to offer. For example, if you want to work in finance, you shouldn't just look at the big finance and accountancy companies. Lots of other businesses will have their own in-house finance departments where you still have access to a huge range of experience and opportunities. It can be a good idea to take some time to look at the different departments that a company has and see if they offer an apprenticeship in that area. For example, you could work as an accountant at BAE, and IT and cybersecurity for PCC, and logistics at the ferry port. There are thousands of different opportunities around. It's really important that your child, and with your support, does their research so that they can find an opportunity that really appeals to them. There are many different ways an apprenticeship can be delivered, depending on the organisation and the training provider who are responsible for actually delivering the apprenticeship. For some apprentices, off-the-job learning is delivered at work. This means that a tutor would go to the workplace to teach that young person independently at work. Another method of delivery is attending a college or a local training provider. This might happen once a fortnight or once a week with other apprentices who work for other companies within the local area. You may also find that the training could be carried out through online learning. And finally, there in some cases could be residential courses where you may be expected to go away for 1 or 2 weeks, supported by the company to go to their own training school within their organisation. Yes, you can still get a degree by doing an apprenticeship. Higher and degree apprenticeships are a real alternative to following the traditional route of going to university as a full-time student. They offer all the benefits of higher education with none of the cost. You'll not only be learning but earning a salary from day one. With a degree apprenticeship, young people are much less likely to build up any debt. Tuition fees are paid for by the employer and the government, so they wouldn't come out with the expected £9,000 a year debt from going to university. More than 100 universities in England offer degree apprenticeships now, and this is increasing all the time. Students on degree apprenticeships are entitled to exactly the same as other students. That would allow them to have access to the student unions, sports facilities, clubs, societies, and student discounts. In the past, going to university was seen as the best way to advance a career to a higher level. But with the current level of competition for jobs amongst graduates, it might not necessarily be the best route. With apprenticeships, young people can gain the competitive advantage of gaining of at least 3 years work experience by completing their degree. However, working alongside doing a degree can be hard and can be very full on. It means you will be working full time and fitting in your studying around that. However, most employers will still give you the time off to attend your course at university. It could be, for example, day release. It may even be actually that your degree will take an extra year to get because you are only doing it through part-time study. No matter what kind of career that you want to follow, the need to do research and find out what is the best way to get you into that role might be the apprenticeship route. That way, the young person can decide if they prefer to study full-time at college or university, or if they prefer to go ahead and get the work experience and gain qualifications through that route. At the end of August, I had a look to see how many vacancies there were within the Portsmouth area. As you can see, there are quite a few that were available. However, this is down considerably from last year. However, please do bear in mind that we have had effects of COVID-19 with many companies, and they are currently going through a review processing of their staffing, and in some cases redundancies have had to be made. However, this is not a normal snapshot of the number of apprenticeships that are available within a 5 to 20 mile radius of Portsmouth. Please don't let this put you off if you're considering applying for an apprenticeship in the near future. On this slide, as you can see, we have set out how to go around finding an apprenticeship. At this stage, I would recommend that young people start doing investigation on specific job roles and career pathways, and then start looking at which employers can offer roles or opportunities in that particular career sector. As you can see, we've got the .gov.uk website, which you can register for apprenticeships so that you can get alerts come through to your mobile or via email. And we would certainly recommend that by Christmas times that you have this set up. The jobs that are likely to be available for our year 11s are really ideally going to probably start being advertised around about April time. However, there are some exceptions. So with bigger companies, for example, like BAE, SSE, Airbus, they open their apprenticeship application process a lot earlier. So it's certainly worth bearing in mind that you keep checking in with those websites. I will, however, be sending out information to Year 11 and to parents about apprenticeship opportunities that I hear about over the coming months. Young people often find it quite daunting when they're actually looking for an apprenticeship, and can quite often get put off because they think it's such a long, hard process and don't generally know where to start. If they have a particular career in mind, then look at local employers, visit their website, see if they offer apprenticeships. They might not have anything going at the time of looking, but certainly worthwhile following their careers link on their webpage, just to keep a lookout to see if they do have opportunities that may arise. Also looking at career pages on social media places such as Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Some employers actually use all of these as well for to recruit apprenticeships as well. And also with some of the employment agencies, they also offer apprenticeships with employers through their pages. Another really good source as well is letting family and friends know that your child might well be interested in an apprenticeship if you know of any of them that have a particular career in mind, and ask them if they can just let you know if they hear of anything going within their company. But certainly, if you can support your child through this process, it will really be worthwhile in the end. Just a few hints and tips on helping your child to work out if they're actually being offered a good apprenticeship. One of the things for them to consider is with the employer is what the wage is that they're going to be offering them. Do need to bear in mind that it is the national minimum wage for apprenticeships that they can offer. It's not the national minimum wage. They are two completely different things. However, many employers do offer higher than the national minimum wage. However, that isn't to say that the highest paid places are offering the best apprenticeships. It could be that you're just working for a small company and they aren't able to offer more than the national minimum apprenticeship wage. But one of the things to look at, particularly if your child is going for an interview or successful with an interview, is if the employer is talking about progression opportunities and can give examples of people that are currently working for them and where they started out as an apprentice and the roles that they're doing now, and the promotion and progression of opportunities that would be available to them as well. Another one is looking at if they're offering a permanent or a fixed term position. Again, this doesn't mean to say that everyone offering a fixed term position is not a good opportunity. It might just be, particularly given the current climate that we're in at the moment, they don't feel that they are able to offer a permanent position. However, it could be fixed term. And then if things are looking better a year, 18 months down the line, then it could go down to a permanent role. Another thing to look out for as well is what training provider are they using? Is that training provider been checked by Ofsted, and what is the rating for that? You can also look at a company's website if they've got one, to see if they've got any apprenticeship success stories. The other one finally is to look at about the varied role what will the job actually entail that they're doing? What experience will they get? Who will they be working with? Will they be on a rota of trying out different departments or trying different jobs within that role? So that's just a couple of hints and tips of when looking at apprenticeships as to what is a good apprenticeship. I would really urge your child to put together their CV in the event of a vacancy coming up they wish to apply for, either in the near future, in the next couple of months, or sometime next year. It's certainly worthwhile them starting to work on it now. It will save the mad rush should a vacancy come up in that time. They just need to remember that it will need to be tailored to meet the person in job specification, as each job is always likely to be slightly different. And if they can tailor it to that, then obviously that will increase their chances as well. As I said, just a reminder, register with the National Apprenticeship Service. There's a link on this slide as well. They can set up the account to receive updates, although the vacancies for a majority of the jobs that they're able to apply for are not likely to come up until about Easter time, but certainly worth registering now just to get an idea for companies. And in some case, they could see a job that they're really interested in, and it might be worth still applying to them, but just saying that they wouldn't be available until the end of June 2021. In the meantime, I would recommend that you encourage your child to research job roles so they get an idea of what certain jobs are, because if they just hear the title, sometimes they're inclined to go no, but in actual fact, when you investigate it a little bit further, they find actually that that particular role is of interest to them, and they think that is something they might like to do as a future career pathway. If they have got a particular career in mind and looking at companies that can support them with that, then using something like Yale.com to research for local businesses can be really, really useful as well. I am available for students to get in touch with. They will see me around the school, or they can always email me on the email address, and I will get back to them as soon as I possibly can. I would also recommend as well that you support your child to apply for a college as a backup, purely for the fact that at the moment, certainly in the times that we're living, when there are lots of redundancies going on, companies restructuring, then we're not quite sure how the apprenticeship programme is going to look over the coming months and going into next year. It may well be that by the summer everything could be back to where it was, or it could well be that we've still got some of the repercussions. So at least if they've got a college placement in place and organised, then that will be one less headache for them to worry about, and they will then still be able to have a choice of what they want to go and do, rather than if they leave it till the summer, then the colleges will be saying to them what courses they've got available then. So certainly please do encourage them to apply for a college placement as a backup by Christmas. That would be ideal. I really hope you found this presentation useful. I hope that at some point in the not too distant future that we may be able to put on a careers fair, particularly for our year 10 and 11s. But unfortunately at the moment it's just not possible. Colleges will be organising events, and training providers will be as well. And as soon as I get information about these, I will let you know. But do please keep checking our careers page on the school website, as there will be lots of information being added over the coming weeks, just to help you to support your child with the best opportunities. Thank you very much for watching.